your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning, and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it, folks. So let's waste no time. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Story number 1. More problems with zoning. Now, Liberty has made headlines in regards to zoning. The story was published November 14th, with dozens of residents attending a Liberty Board of Trustees meeting to seek updates for the upkeep and restoration of township properties, their properties. Now, the Mediator report goes on in detail describing many residential views in Liberty when it comes to the future plans of the improvement of their properties. Story number 2. New homes for veterans locally. Wow. A groundbreaking ceremony to celebrate a $1.2 million facility that's supposed to be built with shipping containers to house veterans. Wow. According to a report published November 14th by the Mediator, the facility will be built at Hillman Street and West Warren Avenue on the south side. Ooh. Go find me a room. Now, the article goes on to say that the housing will provide temporary housing for up to 14 homeless veterans, both men and women. The article is filled with promising insight to house veterans, but only time will tell how these promises will develop over time. Story number 3. Help with heating costs. The help is pouring on. Can't be ungrateful. You got to be thankful for what you can get. Story number 3. The state plans to offer help with heating costs to alleviate the burden of energy bills. Ooh, that sounds good. Now, the information that has been released states that income-eligible Ohioans can receive one-time assistance with their home energy bill through the Ohio Department of Development's Home Energy Assistance Winter Crisis Program. Now, according to the PSA, it appears that the goal is to help those fighting disconnection notices. It is an application-based program. Story number 4. Financial investigation into the local diocese of Youngstown. Local diocese churches are back in the headlines due to financial investigations. Now, the piece cites financial irregularities at 2 Youngstown parishes in the first sentence of the article. It's the main idea, the subject, topic, in a sentence, if you want to be exact. Now, the report is brief and does leave room for all accused to plead their case, all who have been accused. Now, the article does end by letting those concerned know that this investigation is ongoing. Story number 5. Bad news for city entertainment venues. Reporter David Skolnick of the Mediator has a report released November 13th with the headline. It's what the headline reads: record losses seen in city entertainment venues. I think they had a typo in there, but I think it says record losses seen in. This is a big report. Now, this is after the most recent reports of gains. Whew. So, record losses seen in city entertainment venues after they reported gains a few weeks ago. Wow. Now, the piece goes on to mention a $30,166 operating loss in the third quarter. So, that's what they lost. $30,166. That's their operating loss in the third quarter. Now, this is not good news, especially after the city reported a hot streak of shows. They were on a little streak there for a little bit. Now, the piece is filled with up and down projections, but keeps those concerned it keeps you concerned when you're reading it. It gives you a high hope. It gives you some high hopes that the venues are on a level playing field. That means that when you're reading it, you sense something that maybe something will spark things to get back in order. Now, so far, it seems that the venues are in a race to have more surplus events than losses. So Even in the piece, it'll see a bunch of losses. You'll see a bunch of surpluses, but the losses outweigh the surpluses, and it maybe they'll get back in the surpluses this year. This story is still developing. Story number 6, more battery investments in Ohio. Folks, a new battery cell research and development center is in the works for Ohio. The facility will be 25,000 square feet. According to one news report published November 15th by the Mediator. Now, Honda will serve as lead foundational partner for the project with a commitment of $15 million. Oh, that's a lot of money. Now, the facility will also serve as an academic hub across various industries. Folks, this story is still developing. Story number 7 and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, sometimes when I do this show, I have to find a cause, a reason to keep reporting. And with so many different points of view, so many different outlooks, you find a team to be on, And it seems like I'm just going to be on this team probably just to see how many shows I can probably do in my lifespan. But at the moment, I don't seem to be on a team but Method 8 and the Mediator team. So I'm going to keep cheering myself on all by my little lonesome. You can do it, Brian. Brian. Story number 7, replacing Jeff Libyan. Libyan may need a new team to be on pretty soon. It appears that Jeff Libyan is out and Louis Diapolito is in as interim law director in Youngstown, at least for now. Now, this is after Jeff Libyan resigned as Youngstown's law director. He stepped down. Now, one piece published November 15th by the Mediator cites some friction between Youngstown's Mayor Jamel Tito Brown and Jeff Libyan, but doesn't mention why. The article goes on to talk about Libyan's future plans and has a number of co-workers commenting on how they felt about Libyan stepping down. Folks, this story is still developing. Story number 8 and the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week. Folks, I do not claim to be more than what I am. All I know is that as a child in my birthday suit in my little bitty body, the prophets raised me up to the sky. And they said, Habiba Bambaway, this one was made to mediate to the masses. Oh, glorious day. And the people gathered around, and they began to feel the droplets of rain and the glory of mediation. We were being baptized in the glory of mediation. Story number 8. I'll fix it. I'll fix it later. But that's what mediation is all about. Story number 8. Oh, don't you feel the magnificent glory? I just cleared my throat out for that one. Story number 8. How ARP money helped a lot of local community budgets. Where's Brian's fair share? Although there was a lot of waste and neglect overall, folks, a lot of communities and businesses have benefited from the ARP funds, which helped patch up a lot of damage brought on by COVID-19. The number rationed out totaled $1.9 million, probably more in federal aid in 2021, causing an expanded number of applications of distressed people, businesses, districts, business owners, all seeking some of that ARP blessing. Now, if there was a poll taken today, folks, there would probably be a large number of people satisfied with the financial assistance. One article published by Ed Runyon of the Vindicator on November 12th shows that a large number of people have reported good results, some even in the field of lending. They have gotten a piece of that pie. Overall, folks, it's a good article to read when talking about how effective taxpayer money has been used when given back to the taxpayer. I'm planning to put on my birthday suit as the Mediator and fly in to get some of that blessing. Folks, this story is still developing. ARP blessings for everyone this holiday season. Get your COVID money. Get it while it lasts. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories. So don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator with me, Brian West, still searching for my ARP blessing. Welcome back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week, folks. Yes, it is Thanksgiving weekend. Well, Thanksgiving week. And a lot of people are very skeptical about this holiday. Some people still choose not to celebrate it. To be honest with you, I am thankful for my life. It's usually just me and my mother sitting at the dinner table on Thanksgiving, wondering where the hell everybody in our family went. So I'll be sitting at the table with my mom, chilling, maybe eating some Cornish hens because maybe the turkey just a little bit too expensive this year. And I'll be asking some questions. Grandma's gone. Grandpa's gone. I might even go visit my Uncle Frank. He's 90 years old. He's still hanging on. Everybody else is kind of falling off the wagon. And it kind of makes you wonder about this Thanksgiving holiday and the thankfulness of Thanksgiving. Folks, there's a lot of poor, strung out, drunk Americans still searching for something to be thankful for. What is there to be thankful for this Thanksgiving? The message is we have to find something to be thankful for. I'm thankful that I do get to share it with somebody this year. I'm not married. Don't have any kids. All I have is my song. I'm stronger than I was before. Much wiser than I was before. I'm better. I'm better this Thanksgiving. Even though I have no reason behind this holiday. I didn't make this holiday, but I am thankful for something. Years ago, I did go to a church that taught me a little bit about the Pilgrims and the Mayflower and the thankfulness of discovering America, and seeing that I do have some Indian in my family. I will be thanking God that I'm still alive. Thankful for something this holiday season. We've got to be thankful when we're getting chased by a dog on Thanksgiving Eve because that dog needs something to eat and he wants some turkey. And when the dog chases you to the door, be thankful that you are a Cleveland Browns fan and the quarterback got injured on Thanksgiving. Nobody set up for the Star Spangled Banner on Thanksgiving. Everybody pissed off at the popos and the fire departments. Everybody pissed off at the public workers on Thanksgiving. People can't get along for 5 damn minutes. Black folks killing each other. Good Lord. White man, black man can't get along for 5 minutes. Indians on CNN making movies. This Thanksgiving. Whew. Be thankful. China's in the White House. President Xi Jinping. President Biden. Whew. Where's my blessing? Be thankful this Thanksgiving. Be thankful for something. Let's waste no time, folks. Let's be thankful for mediation. Let's get to it. Story number 1. We're talking money, folks. People are now talking crypto after the fund saw a $1 billion inflow in 2023. Business Insider is all in on the crypto story. The question is, what do money watchers see in the still unique fund? The piece says that Bitcoin has gained more than 120% this year. It's a big number. Now, optimism is what got the story in. As stated in the report, optimism has swirled in recent months over the possibilities that the U.S. could soon see its first spot crypto ETF, which with assets management, with asset management giants, including BlackRock and Fidelity, applying for approval with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Folks, last week, BlackRock also filed for the approval of the Ethereum ETF. You know what that is. Now, this story is gaining steam, and money watchers are taking notice. Story number 2, the student loan problem still lingers. ABC News has a piece where a woman is voicing her views on the student loan story. The woman is just one of 28 million borrowers coming out about how it feels to start repaying the loans back. Now, the article talks about a number of errors, from administrative errors to incorrect bills, now late notices, and more. The article goes on to talk about the women's experience with student loan debt and what she feels about Joe Biden's attempt to add student debt relief. How does he lighten the load? How anybody can lighten the load. Now, the article is a must-read for students with questions about relief and what the future could hold for borrowers. Story number 3. The retail story has a twist to it that involves thieves. Vox has a piece homing in on the retail story and what retailers are doing to stop shoplifters. The piece goes on to explain how some of the stealing is taking place when it comes to retail theft. Now, the piece even talks about how many employers are not even listening to suggestions from employees who are being affected by theft. Now, from blind spots to caging items in that are at a higher rate of being stolen. This is all in this report. Now, we got the story in is the cost. If you add the items up, it costs the retailer even more money to catch the thief, added to the money from that they probably can't get from the stolen item. Wow. Now, the article is long and talks about how items are purposely missing from shelves and workers see no way to stop it, folks, thus making this a top story. That's why story number 3 made it this week. Story number 4. Israel's war is raising the country's debt. Reuters has a piece stating that Israel's debt raised $8 billion since the start of the war with Hamas. The story made it in to give people an idea on how much money is thrown around when a nation has to go to war, decides to. Now, it also shows how much money it was lost and if the price tag of war is actually worth it. It may be cheaper just to turn the other cheek, folks. This story is still developing. Well, folks, those are our top 4 international headlines of developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 4. So don't you go anywhere. In the Mediator, me, Brian West. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made this week. Folks, yes, it is Thanksgiving weekend, and Xi Jinping visited the White House with Joe Biden and the majority Democrats. It made me think about what would happen if I went to the White House and I tried to get a blessing, you know. I said, well, Brian, what do you want? What do you want? Come on in. Serve the country. What can we do for you and the Ohioans or the people you represent? I say, well, my army is few. Democrat. Are there any Republicans around I could talk to? What about Kamala? Come on in, Kamala. Have a talk with Brian. What does he have to say about the economy? Brian, you made it all the way to the White House. You don't have much to offer. All you are just a veteran. An enlisted veteran at that. What do you have to say and what do you have to account for the American people? Well, open up a business. Can I get a loan? They may consider it, folks. But the moral of the story is this Thanksgiving, while the true nature of the American people seem to be coming out, and a lot of American people still seem to be suffering under the realms of poverty. A lot of Americans can't even get a job at a fast food restaurant right now, and a lot of them are being counted out, losing their life to the bullet, being robbed, stolen from, high off drugs. You go to some of these neighborhoods and they are in the pit of hell. And most of them are possibly governed by Democrat regimes. Some and Republican communities, and just a sprinkle of everything. And you ask the president about your seat at the table. And some are even wondering about the COVID, the mess. Who do we blame for this COVID mess that we're in? We're still scraping for American Rescue Plan dollars, folks. And this Thanksgiving, we are thankful for those American Rescue Plan dollars. But there's a little bit more going on in mediation this week. A little bit more going on around this holiday. And I think the American people want their seat and their discussion in the big Oval Office. And I think they want it bad because they have been losing a lot while everybody else outside of America seems to be gaining. Woo! Oh! The saga in America. God bless America. Saga's heating up, folks. Well, folks, let's waste no time. Be thankful. Let's be thankful. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Be thankful for the little that we do have. Be thankful. Be blessed. Who is contributing the most to the U.S. economy? Speaking of questions, Forbes has a headline stating that 1 million international students have contributed $40 billion to the United States economy. What got the story in is the fact that this is the second consecutive year of growth when it comes to that specific topic, international students. Now, this is a big number because not only are they paying tuition costs, but they are spending on accommodations, transportation, food, and consumer goods, all while living in the U.S. Folks, this is a big story with a lot of stats and a lot of states cashing in. The article even has the nationality data of the students cashing in the most. And folks, yes, many of them are Chinese. No disrespect. Now, this story is still developing and shows a huge shift in consumer buying trends in a market that has really changed in reference to the buyer and who has been doing the most spending. Story number 6, the China and business story. We just got off China. Now, the question after a long-awaited visit between China and America is how bad does America need China and how bad does China need America? That's a big question. Overall, Bloomberg has a piece stating that the meeting between Biden and Xi Jinping went great. This could be big for the global business market, but could cause some friction when it comes to the still unanswered questions about COVID and who will be accountable for the losses that have already crippled many world economies and caused a war to break out between Russia and Ukraine, with Putin using labs as his reason to attack Ukraine, if you want to be specific. Now, one BBC report says that businesses have been pulling billions in profits from China. That means that China is losing. China has recorded a deficit of 11.8 billion in foreign investments. This is the first time since they've been keeping the records began in 1998 that you've seen this type of deficit from China. Story number 7 and the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Check my fortune cookie after eating some Chinese dinner, and I'm ready for some panda sauce, baby. For some pandas. I might even go get me a few pandas myself after we become good buddies with our neighbors on the east or the west. I believe it's the west. Oh boy, I've lost my sense of thought. It's the west. Big stories here. Story number 7. We are the west. They are the east, Asia. But if you go to the west coast, you probably can get to China. I'm pretty sure of that. Story number 7. The UN's nagging war problem. The UN is busy, folks, and the nagging war problem is causing a world of hurt. For anyone tuning into what has been taking place between Gaza and Israel, this is a real problem that may not end well at all, folks. This story is brutal. You have Palestinians seeking refuge, Hamas members blending in, and Israel forces looking to retaliate for an attack that popped the already brewing conflicts between the two in two top headlines. Back into the top headlines. That's Israel, Palestine, Palestinians. Folks, this is real. Now, this is a long story about death, brutal attacks, and people literally having few to no options for help. Story number 8, and the top international headline and developing news story that made it this week to keep you informed. Ask not how to read your paper. Ask how to stay informed. How do you stay informed? Work to stay informed. Be thankful to stay informed. Fight to get a story that is going to benefit you, that you can soak in. Be a champion for news. Be a mediator, a person who navigates finding a story. Yes, sounds good. It is good. Story number 8. Is the economy getting better? Even with jobless claims at a 3-month high and import prices tumbling, the president has gone on the record stating that the economy is on the upswing. Reuters even has a piece about the U.S. import prices and how they've posted their largest drop in 7 months. The report also shows the export prices fell also 1.1%. So, with everyone looking for help, the question now is, why are jobless claims at a 3-month high? Folks, this story is just gaining some steam, and analysts will be crunching the numbers to see what is actually going on in this economic report. One report in the Washington Post has inflation easing in October. Folks, there are a lot of winners and losers in this story because some people, it's just still not adding up, and there's still a lot of credit card debt. The country's still in debt. So if the economy is doing great, oh my goodness, where? Oh, well, folks, those are our top 8 international and local headlines and developing news stories that made this week. The economy is doing great. Everybody's rolling in dough. Well, I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of doing the research. As usual, I thank all the news outlets and journalists and people on the front lines. You deserve all the credit. You get the blessing. I'm just the mediator, the man in the middle. If you want to show some support here at Method 8, it does not take much to visit the website on the screen. Buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor a program. Or you can stop by the store at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. Buy something, see my smiling face, shake my hand, do whatever you want. I don't care. I'll be back next week looking through over 200 or more stories, Lord willing, just to keep you informed right before the Christmas season, folks. Right before you'll see my smiling face. I'm out of here. I'll be back next week. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator with me, Brian West. And happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Be thankful. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.